welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited about this video today because this is the question that everybody's been asking me to answer. How do you teach your horse to follow you? First of all, before anything else, if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate all your support, and also then you're going to be getting all of my new videos about teaching your horse liberty. But without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so first of all, I just wanted to talk quickly about why you should teach your horse to follow you. Well, one thing I wanted to say about this, and that I say to everybody, is why would you want an animal like tied to you by a rope or attached to you in some way physically when it could be with you out of its free will, out of its free choice? It's exactly the same as having a dog. Why would you want a dog that you have to have on the lead all the time when you could have a dog with you that willingly wants to be with you and willingly wants to follow you and spend time with you? The exact same can apply for a horse. And actually it's interesting because I have a toddler, I have a child. I don't know if you can call him a toddler anymore, he's 4, but I have a 4-year-old boy, and I know some people have like lead ropes for their children, and it's the same concept. The right rope might be there as a training aid for a child, but you don't want to have to permanently attach your child to you with a rope. I personally have never had to use one for my son, because I've taught my child to like walk with me and hold my hand and to want to be with me, and the same applies for horses. It is that simple. It seems nonsensical to me that you wouldn't want your horse to follow you. Also, doing liberty with your horse and teaching your horse to follow you just speaks volumes for your relationship, because in order for this to work, you have to have mutual trust. Not only does your horse have to trust you, but you have to trust your horse. Liberty is born out of that connection and that magnetism in your relationship. Why wouldn't you want that? Like, it's just, yes. Why should you teach your horse to follow you? Because it's the obvious thing to do to benefit you and your horse and for the welfare of your horse. Okay, I'm going to stop going on about that because that's not what this video is about. I'm just very bit passionate and crazy about it, but let's get started. Okay, so first of all, like, teaching your horse to follow you is actually incredibly easy once you know how to do it. The steps are very simple, and the foundation is everything that matters. So in this video today, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about those foundations and about how you can start to implement them in your training. So we're going to look at what a partner position is and what it's about to be in partnership and in connection with your horse. And then in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to introduce forwards cues and getting the horse to actually move forwards with you and want to travel forwards with you. And I'm going to be talking about your downwards cues. So that's getting the horse to slow down when you slow down. And what we're really looking for in these exercises is your horse starting to mirror your movements and go with you where you go. It's that simple. So when you're teaching your horse to follow you, I like to work in an arena. I know some of you won't have the luxury of the arena, so a quiet paddock where you're away from other horses and you have your own space is fine. It doesn't have to be a particularly large space. You could even start training these exercises like in a yard. Work with what you've got. You want to start with the rope on, ironically, even though we're seeking for the rope to be off. But in all of these exercises that I'm going to go into now, you're always seeking to not to have to use the rope. So that's something just to begin with to always have in your mind. I understand that lots of different liberty practitioners will have different approaches to this. Some people like their horses following them like directly behind them. I personally like my horse being right next to me in a position I call the partner position. And this is if you imagine I'm here and my horse is next to me. If I have my horse's head and my horse's shoulder, so his wither and his shoulder, his neck and his head, I always like to imagine like 3 points of a triangle. So the horse's head being the bottom corner, the horse's shoulder being the bottom corner, and then me being the top point of the triangle. And then that space there is where that connection, where you really feel that sort of like draw and connection between you and your horse, when that starts to happen. That position is what I call the partner position. I personally am a big advocate for having your horse travel with you at the side. When the horse is behind me, it's fine when you're just walking or trotting, but trust me, like, you can't outrun a cantering horse, and I just don't like the legs like coming at you from behind. I feel much safer personally, and I'm more comfortable with my horse next to me. And I like this particularly because it's less like establishing like a leader and the horse as a follower, and instead when my horse is next to me, it's more like we're partners and we're a team, and that's why I personally prefer to work that way. So this position, once you're there with the head, the shoulder and yourself, this is the partner position, and this is the position I seek personally my horse to travel with me, and that's the place from where everything begins. So once you've got that in your mind, that you've got your partner position, you now need to teach your horse how to like move forward with you in that position and stop with you in that position. Now what I want you to do, you should have a head collar on your horse. Please don't do this in a bridle or anything with a bit. Like, doesn't matter if your horse is a bit like difficult to handle on the ground. I want you to make a habit right now of putting the head collar on. So you want the head collar on your horse, you want the lead rope, and what I want you to do is hold the lead rope in your left hand. I had to check my lefts and my rights. So if your horse is on your right, for example, you can work this either side. But for this example, let's say your horse is on your right. So you're standing on the left side of your horse. I want you to take the lead rope and put it in your left hand. And you're going to take the stick, the dressage stick, in your right hand. And the dressage stick should be down by your side, pointing downwards in like a relaxed position. This is your starting point. Now, when you want your horse to move forward, the forwards cues, what we're looking for is the horse to be in tune with you and your body. So what we're always seeking is that the first signal you offer your horse to indicate that you're going to either move forwards or step up another transition, a higher transition. Your first place to offer that to the horse and to indicate to the horse that's what you're asking has to come from your body and the energy that you're giving off. Now, for those of you who've already maybe like looked at Liberty or done some reading about it, you'll probably hear a lot about the energy and be thinking, like, what is that? But it literally is like your energy and your body language. So when you're moving forwards into a transition, you don't want to be moving forwards in like a half-hearted way. Or I find a lot of people when they're first doing this, they'll be like waiting for their horse. They're like taking a step forward, but they'll be like hesitating in their body language because they're like waiting for their horse to come with them. You have to be like really clear and really assertive in like a forwards movement. So that signal is like the first signal you want to offer your horse that you're going to move forwards or like step up a gear in the transition. Now, we then have like a hierarchy of indicators to offer your horse. So with your body, if he's not moving forwards with you, you're then going to use a vocal cue. I personally, for like my upwards cues, I really like a click because it's simple. The horses don't need like words and sentences. It's something that I don't really like when people are like, okay, and walk on. Like the horse does not understand the human language. He understands an element of sound. So the simpler you can make that, the simpler it's going to be for your horse to understand. So I like a click, or you might go like up, or anything you want. You pick it, but once you've picked that, stick to that vocal cue. So first thing we're asking is with our forward body movement. And if the horse travels forward, that's great. We move forward. If he doesn't, we introduce the vocal cue. So we move forward, the horse doesn't travel. So we click to like give him a bit of oomph. Hopefully the horse moves forward. If he's not responding to the body movement or to the voice, the next thing we go to as the next indicator is we want to drive the horse from behind with the stick forwards. It's exactly the same as when you're riding a horse and you're looking for engagement behind and the energy behind and like pushing through from behind in front. It's exactly the same on the ground. Honestly, there are so many parallels in Liberty with like ridden work, and this is one of them. So what I want you to do if your horse is like not moving forwards with your body language and with the voice is that I want you to turn back and gesture with the whip towards the quarters of the horse. And you want to imagine that you're like pushing him from behind forwards and ahead of you. And at any point in any of these stages, as soon as the horse is like offering you what you want, your release of pressure is so important. Like the release is where your horse learns. So if, for example, you move forwards, your horse doesn't quite come with you in like a positive energy, so you give a little click. If the horse then moves forward, that's great. Like let him be on that because that's a really, really good thing. Some people, they'll like step forward, the horse doesn't move, so they'll click, and then the horse starts to move, but then they'll be like, and they'll keep clicking. What that's doing is confusing the horse and actually numbing the horse to offering you a reaction. And then the same thing can be applied with the stick. So if you've had to resort to ushering the horse forward with the stick to pressure him to like move into a forward space, if the horse then moves forward, like immediately release that pressure, Because if you go back there and you keep applying the pressure, eventually it's something that the horse is going to become less sensitive to. And can I just say, I know this is maybe like really complicated to take in, and it might be easier to like demonstrate with a horse. I don't have a horse right now, so actually most of the time in my initial Liberty lessons with people, like I do so much talking, and I always warn people there is a lot of information to take in. It can take a bit of processing. If it helps you to go back and rewatch this video, take notes and then go and try it, like do that. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Right.
What? I feel like this video is gonna go from having been quite serious to now like ridiculous. But that's fine too.
I'm tired.
She's a bit
Can
tired.
you get this over and done with?
Oh, whoa, okay. She's tired and she's a diva to work with. Okay, so this is my horse. Flo. So if she's in the partner position, this is kind of awkward because we've cut to work within a sort of like frame of the camera as well. So partner position, have a bit of enthusiasm, throw. That can be a horse name. Okay, so if I'm me and Flo's my horse, and I want her to like move forwards with me. So when I move forwards, what I'm looking for is I move forwards and Flo moves forwards with me. Okay, great. But if I move forwards and Flo doesn't, and then I want her to move forwards. If she still doesn't react to my voice, I'm going to move forwards. She's still not going. Turn around. Ooh, drive her from behind. Can I put that in there? Okay,
Anyway.
this video has gone ridiculous, but I hope you kind of like get the vibe. You can stay in. I'm liking this. So those are your upwards cues, and they can be applied through every transition. So at first I would say literally just like do your halt walk and maybe your walk trot transitions. And one thing I would always say is like, if you look at where I am now, I know it's hard, again, she's not actually a horse, but the partner position is really like we're here, we're together, we're connected. It's lovely. I don't ever want to like get ahead. So if I'm like getting ahead over here and the horse is like drifting behind, you really need to like drive from behind to get that energy so the horse is really up in front and with you. And equally, I don't want the horse to be rushing. So if Flo's ahead and like leading, I want to be like bringing the horse back. And I'm going to show you how to do that now with your downwards transitions and downwards cues. So downwards cues are kind of the same thing, but in reverse. So if I want to come down, first of all, with my body, so if I'm like walking and I want to stop, I'm gonna like exhale, relax my energy, bring my energy down, and like exhale into a walk, and I would expect my lovely horsey to come down with me. And this is where like, again, your energy is really important, because if you're coming from like a tense place and you're like quite demanding in your energy of like, I want you to walk, you having that hardness about your energy is actually going to make your horse like anxious and uncomfortable and less likely to come down in his own energy. So having self-awareness is so important. I feel like I'm going American. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's so important.
It's because you're Paris Hilton.
Oh, I hate it when she says that. No.
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, she's so nice to me. Okay, but if the horse is not in tune with you yet, this will grow, this will improve. But if the horse is not in tune with your body, so if you two come down and you slow down, the horse isn't coming down with you, you're then going to apply a... Have you been paying attention?
Sorry.
You're then going to apply a...
Downwards cue. What have we been saying?
A vocal cue. Oh. Okay, we'll try one more time. We're then going to try a...
Vocal cue.
Vocal cue. Beautifully done, Flo, I must say. So your vocal cue, again, like for my upwards cue, I use a click because it's kind of like quite sharp and like, my downwards cue, I just go, oh. It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like guttural. I like Was that a bird? She is filthy. So it's quite guttural.
Okay.
I like what you're doing.
Does it sound like a burp?
Yeah, it sounds like a burp.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was a hidden burp.
It wasn't.
That was. Really? It sounds really real. So again, choose your downwards cue. It can be anything you want. It could be whoa. Some people whistle, like a nice downwards cue. So again, if I'm walking and I want to stop, I'm gonna exhale, relax, stop. Horse doesn't stop. I'm gonna oh. The third and final thing you're going to resort to, if then your horse still doesn't like slow down, is you're going to put the stick in front of the horse's chest. And that's like a barrier or like a wall to like block the horse in front and block his forwards movement. So again, first thing is like your body. If you're still not reacting to your cue, you use your voice. And if you're still not reacting, you put the stick across the chest. Now in both of these exercises, in like the upwards transitions and the downwards transitions, if ultimately the horse is still not responding, so if you're like driving the horse forwards from behind and you're really struggling to get that forward energy, this is the point where you can go to the rope and give him like a little like gentle tug to encourage him forwards. And equally with the downwards cues, if with the stick in front and with your voice and everything else, if he's still not coming down with you, this is the point where you can resort to the rope. But the rope has to be an absolute last resort. I can't emphasize that enough, and it might be a good thing when you're first doing these exercises to get a friend to watch you and literally shout the word like rope every time they see you use the rope. Because I think for a lot of people have had horses for a really long time before they start Liberty. And normally we're so used to using the rope that people really struggle to like release that tension or release the using it. And your horse will not learn how to get in tune with you if you're always going back to the rope and always using the rope as like a first resort. So that tier of like your body language, your voice, the stick, and then absolutely last resort to the rope. That chronology of indicators is like essential to this working. The way I would apply these exercises is if you can work on on a track, on a piece, you say in French. So if you're in an arena, if you can just literally go around the outside of the arena so you're against the wall, so you have like wall, horse, you, and just forget about everything else and just think about transitions. Start with halt, walk, halt. And once you've got the horse starting to be in tune with you and starting to like mirror you and following that energy of your body, and you might vamp it up. So yeah, really mix up and play with transitions as much as possible, and that's going to really get your horse focusing on you and building that mental connection, because ultimately that's what your horse following you is. It's about him giving you his focus and attention, you giving him your focus and attention, and you two really being in tune with each other. And actually it's quite a good thing you're here, Flo. You actually downloaded my ebook. I didn't know you downloaded it. It made me really happy. But you can get the ebook. It's in the caption. That goes into like more comprehensive detail about these like exercises. But it'd be interesting, like how did you find applying those upwards and downwards cues?
Yeah, really good. So my horse, he struggles with his downwards cues because he was born a bulldozer. He's an ex-school pony, and he used to drag the kids around the yard, and he used to like bolt to the back of the ride.
So he didn't have like well-established boundaries.
Well-established boundaries. They skipped the groundwork. I'm rambling as well.
No, it's good. I love it.
It's actually been really good to get him to like really listen to me on the ground.
That's good. That's exciting. So yeah, this is sort of like a part 1 video, so please subscribe because I'm going to be uploading another video in a couple of days, which is like the next stage. The next step is getting your horse to turn and follow you in changes of direction. So there's going to be a video out in a couple of days that's all about that. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed that. Please leave any comments if you've been trying this. Let me know how it's working for you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot them my way. I am here to help and guide you. Have a lovely day. Bye!